The Book of Ecclesiastes, Chapter 4. In studying this chapter, to reflect upon the preacher's observations gleaned from his search for the purpose of life under the sun, to consider the vanity of skillful work, isolation, and popularity, to appreciate the value of friendship and working together. The preacher continues to share his observations gleaned during the course of his search for the purpose of life under the sun. Earlier he related the injustice he saw. Now we are told how he considered those who were oppressed with no comforter. 4 verse 1. Then I returned and saw all the oppressions that are done under the sun, and behold, the tears of those who were oppressed, and they had no comforter. And on the side of their oppressors there was power, but they had no comforter. In such a state, he concluded the dead were better than the living, and better than both were to never be born. 4 verses 2 through 4. Therefore I praised the dead who have been long dead more than the living who are yet alive. Yes, better than them both is him who has not yet been, who has not seen the evil work that is done under the sun. Then I saw all the labor and achievement that is the envy of a man's neighbor. This is also vanity and a striving after wind. The preacher then describes what he saw as the vanity of toil and skillful work, especially when one is alone. While one who does nothing is a fool and consumes his own flesh, it is better to have a little with quietness than a lot with much toil. 4 verses 5 through 7. The fool folds his hands together and ruins himself. Better is a handful with quietness than 2 handfuls with labor and chasing after wind. Then I returned and saw vanity under the sun. A grave misfortune is the person with no companion, son, nor brother, who labors endlessly for riches that do not satisfy, and does not consider who will receive that for which he deprives himself of much good in life. 4 verse 8. There is one who is alone and has neither son nor brother. There is no end to all of his labor, neither are his eyes satisfied with wealth. For whom then do I labor and deprive my soul of enjoyment? This also is vanity, yes, it is a miserable business. On the other hand, the preacher saw great value in friendship. He illustrates the principle of synergy in their work and how they can help one another in times of need. 4 verses 9 through 12. 2 are better than 1, because they have a good reward for their labor. For if they fall, the one will lift up his fellow. But woe to him who is alone when he falls and doesn't have another to lift him up. Again, if 2 lie together, then they have warmth. But how can one keep warm alone? If a man prevails against one who is alone, 2 shall withstand him, and a 3-fold cord is not quickly broken. The chapter closes with an illustration of the vanity of popularity. While a young and wise man who becomes king may be popular at first, with the passing of time he is not appreciated by those who come along later. 4 verses 13 through 16. Better is a poor and wise youth than an old and foolish king who doesn't know how to receive admonition anymore. For out of prison he came forth to be king. Yes, even in his kingdom he was born poor. I saw all the living who walk under the sun, that they were with the youth, the other, who succeeded him. There was no end of all the people, even of all them over whom he was. Yet those who come after shall not rejoice in him. Surely this also is vanity, and a chasing after wind. This is the conclusion of chapter 4 of the book of Ecclesiastes.